A friend says you deserve better, but the person smiles nervously and replied it's not that bad. We don't miss red flags. We excuse them. And every time we excuse them, we trade peace for pain. You saw it, but ignored it. Imagine you're out with friends. The table buzzed with laughter, clinking glasses, stories flowing. Then, out of nowhere, your partner leans in with a smirk and says, "Well, you know them, they never finish anything they start." Everyone laughed. You laughed too, cheeks burning. You even add, "guilty as charged." But later that night, when the noise faded and you're lying in bed, the replay stings. It wasn't really a joke. It felt like a cut. A tiny slice of disrespect disguised as humor. And here's the moment. You saw it. You felt it. But you ignored it. Why we excuse red flags? Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. It's mental gymnastics, choosing the story that feels safer over the truth that feels threatening. If you admit it's a red flag, you'd have to question the relationship. If you excuse it, you'd get to keep the illusion of peace. So you rationalize? They didn't mean it. They were just tired. Relationships aren't perfect. And with each excuse, you bury the discomfort. The domino effect. The problem is, ignoring one red flag makes it easier to excuse the next. A sarcastic jab becomes constant belittling. One broken promise becomes a pattern of unreliability. One bad day becomes a roller coaster of emotional highs and lows. Your brain, desperate for consistency, bends reality to fit the belief, "This person is good for me." It's not that you don't see the truth. It's that you're too afraid to accept it. The cost of looking away. Every ignored red flag has a price attached to it. Self-esteem fades. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach yourself you deserve it. Intuition weakens. Your gut screams, but you train yourself not to listen. Time slips away. Months or years invested in someone who never truly invests back. Ignoring red flags doesn't just cost relationships. It costs identity. It costs self-trust. Why we keep ignoring? The following are the 4 psychological traps that keeps us stuck as we keep ignoring. 1. Hope addiction. That one good day, that heartfelt apology, it lights up your brain like a drug. You hold on to the highs and minimize the lows. 2. Fear of being alone. Silence feels scarier than abuse. Psychology calls this fear of abandonment. It's why many prefer toxic company over solitude. 3. Trauma repetition. Sometimes, the pain feels familiar. It mirrors old wounds. Subconsciously, we try to redo the past and finally win the love we lost. 4. Social conditioning. Messages like, "Relationships take work," or "at least you're not single." Society romanticizes endurance, even when endurance means self-destruction. Here's the turning point. You stop asking, "Is this normal?" and start asking, "Is this respectful?" Because disrespect doesn't need to be extreme to be harmful. It's not always screaming, cheating, or betrayal. Sometimes it's quiet. A joke at your expense. A plan never kept. An emotion consistently dismissed. Respect is binary. It's either present, or it's not. Applicable methods to stop excusing. How do you break free from the excuse cycle? 1. Name it. Say it out loud, even if only to yourself. That comment was disrespectful. Naming destroys denial. 2. Match words to actions. Don't get swept away by promises. Look for consistent follow-through. A red flag isn't in what they say, it's in what they repeatedly don't do. 3. Flip the question. Stop asking, "Do they love me?" Start asking, "Do I feel safe with them?" Love without safety isn't love. 4. Borrow outside eyes. Good friends often spot what we excuse. If 2 or 3 people voice concern, don't dismiss it as jealousy or misunderstanding. The truth is, most of us don't miss red flags. We see them. We feel them. But we ignore them, because facing the truth means facing loss. But here's the deeper truth. Every excuse delays the inevitable. Every ignored flag chips away at your spirit. Love doesn't require excuses. Respect doesn't need translation. And peace doesn't demand you silence your gut. So the next time your body whispers something's off, listen. That whisper is your ally and your lifeline. Because the real danger isn't in the red flag itself. The real danger is in you. Seeing it. And ignoring it. Another way we can identify red flags is through the jokes that aren't funny. It starts small, like a group hangout, a family dinner, maybe even just two of you on the couch. Your partner cracks a joke. For instance, a joke like, "Be careful, don't let them cook. Unless you like eating food that tastes like cardboard." Everyone laughs. You laugh too. You even nudge them, playfully pretending to be offended. But deep down, something twists. Because it wasn't really about the food, was it? It was about you. And later, when the laughter fades, you ask yourself quietly, why did that hurt? There's no fire without smoke, so we are expected to know why we laugh along. We laugh because it's easier. Easier to play along than to make it awkward. Easier to shrug it off than to admit out loud that someone who's supposed to care just used you as the punchline. Psychologists call this minimization. It's a defense mechanism. If I pretend it's not a big deal, then maybe it isn't. But here's the problem: the jokes don't stop. They escalate. And each time, you get better at hiding your discomfort. You will realize that you've been moved from humor to humiliation. At first, it's cooking. Then, it's how you drive. Then, it's your job, your body, your family. And the line between playful teasing and subtle humiliation blurs. You're so sensitive. Relax, it's just a joke. Don't take everything so seriously. These aren't just excuses, they're silencers. They train you to doubt your own feelings, to question your own right to respect. This is called psychology of the not funny joke. Studies on microaggressions shows that repeated small insults can wound more deeply than outright hostility. Why? Because you're forced to swallow the pain silently. You don't get to fight back without looking crazy or dramatic. Over time, this leads to what psychologists call erosion of self-worth. The constant drip of disrespect convinces you that maybe it's true, maybe you are too sensitive, too clumsy, too less than. So why do we keep excusing these jokes? It's because of the unlisted reasons. 1. Fear of conflict. Calling it out risks an argument. Laughter feels safer than confrontation. 2. Hope for change. We think they didn't mean it. Next time, they'll be kinder. 3. Normalization. If we grew up in environments where sarcasm, mockery, or tough love were common, we confuse cruelty with closeness. 4. Gaslighting loop. When they insist it's just a joke, we doubt ourselves. Maybe we are too sensitive. Maybe the problem isn't them, it's us. But here's the cost of the hidden impact. You shrink in social settings. You silence yourself before they can. You slowly forget what it feels like to be seen without ridicule. And over time, the laughter that once made the relationship feel lighthearted becomes the very weight dragging it down. The turning point: humor with respect. Here's the truth: not all jokes are bad. Teasing can be playful, even bonding when it's rooted in respect. The difference is simple. Respectful humor makes you feel included. Disrespectful humor makes you feel exposed. If the joke consistently leaves you feeling small, it's not a joke, it's a red flag wrapped in a punchline. Herein practical steps to break the cycle. 1. Pause the laughter. The next time it happens, resist the automatic chuckle. Silence is powerful. It signals, that wasn't funny. 2. Call it what it is. Say calmly, that hurt. Please don't joke about that. It's direct, simple, and undeniable. 3. Watch their reaction. A healthy partner will stop, apologize, and adjust. A toxic partner will dismiss, mock, or flip it back on you. Their response is your answer. 4. Reclaim your boundaries. If they keep crossing the line, stop excusing it. Because boundaries don't work if you keep erasing them for the sake of peace. The next time someone says, "It's just a joke," Ask yourself, was I laughing because it was funny, or because it was safer than being honest? Because love isn't about silencing your hurt for the sake of harmony. And jokes that humiliate aren't jokes at all. They're warnings. Red flags. And the only punchline is the one you tell yourself when you excuse it. Why it feels so addictive. Here's the scary part of your brain that doesn't just tolerate this inconsistency, it becomes addicted to it. Psychologists call it intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. Pull the lever once, nothing. Pull again, nothing. Pull the third time, jackpot. That unpredictability lights up your dopamine system more powerfully than consistent rewards. So when your partner swings between warmth and withdrawal, your brain learns to crave the jackpot moments, the affection, the attention, the love bombing. This is psychological trap. This pattern creates 3 dangerous illusions. 1. Illusion of depth. The highs feel so powerful, you convince yourself it must mean something profound. 2. Illusion of blame. When the lows hit, you assume it's your fault. If I were better, they wouldn't pull away. 3. Illusion of hope. You keep chasing the next high, believing, maybe this time, it'll last. But it never does. Because the cycle isn't an accident, it's a dynamic of control. Why do we excuse it? We excuse the hot and cold dance because we romanticize drama. Movies and songs glorify passion as chaos. We confuse intensity with intimacy. Just because it feels strong doesn't mean it's safe. We're afraid of stillness. The quiet after withdrawal feels unbearable, so we cling to any scrap of attention. The hidden damage of hot and cold cycle really does to you. It rewires your nervous system. You're constantly in fight or flight, waiting for the next shift. It erodes your self-worth. You start thinking love is something you must earn through patience or perfection. It blinds you to real love. Consistency feels boring. Stability feels suspicious. In other words, chaos becomes your comfort zone. The turning point: a healthy love is consistent. Let's be clear, healthy relationships aren't roller coasters. They're more like steady rivers. Sure, there are waves, disagreements, ups and downs, but the flow remains consistent. Healthy love doesn't leave you guessing. It doesn't punish you with silence. It doesn't give you crumbs one day and a feast the next. It simply shows up. Day after day. Herein practical tools to break the cycle. 1. Track the pattern. Write it down. When are they warm? When are they cold? Patterns become undeniable on paper. 2. Test the consistency. Stop chasing. See if their effort matches when you don't initiate. If it doesn't, the balance is clear. 3. Redefine attraction. Ask yourself, am I drawn to the person, or to the high they give me after the low? 4. Choose stillness over chaos. Practice sitting with silence. Loneliness is uncomfortable, but it's better than being addicted to instability. The hot and cold dance feels intoxicating. But here's the truth, it's not love, it's manipulation dressed up as passion. Love doesn't make you question your worth every other day. Love doesn't vanish and reappear like a magic trick. Love doesn't train you to crave scraps. So the next time you find yourself refreshing your phone, waiting for them to come back, pause. Ask yourself, am I in love, or am I just addicted to the chase? Because real love doesn't leave you guessing. It shows up. It stays. And it doesn't make you dance for crumbs. And when you don't take note of hot and cold dance, you will land yourself into the dream that never comes. This is what psychologists call tactic future faking, when someone uses promises of the future to secure your commitment in the present. It works because hope is powerful. We endure pain today if we believe tomorrow will be better. We ignore red flags if we're promised that one day they'll disappear. Future faking keeps you stuck in a waiting room where the door never opens. The psychology behind it. Future faking hooks you through 3 psychological levers. 1. Hope as leverage. We're wired to endure discomfort if there's a reward ahead. Like running a marathon for the medal. The future becomes the medal. 2. Investment bias. The more time you spend waiting, the harder it feels to walk away. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy. You don't want to waste what you've already given. 3. Illusion of security. Promises of a shared future mimic commitment. It makes you feel chosen, even if the actions prove otherwise. Why we excuse it? We excuse future faking because we want to believe. The vision is so beautiful we cling to it. We compare words to potential. We think they must mean it, they said it with such passion. We're afraid of disappointment. Admitting the promises are empty means admitting we've been misled. The cost of waiting. Future faking steals more than time. It traps your growth. You delay your own plans, moving, traveling, pursuing dreams, because you're waiting for our plan. It freezes your decision making. You stay in limbo, either fully in nor fully out. It wears down your self-worth. Each unkept promise whispers, maybe you're not worth following through for. By the time you realize you've built a castle in the sky, while standing on sinking sand. Here's the truth, commitment isn't in what someone says about tomorrow. It's in what they do today. If they talk about traveling but won't save for tickets, it's fantasy. If they promise marriage but avoid introducing you to family, it's avoidance. If they say we'll move in soon but never take a step, it's deception. Love doesn't need a perfect timeline. But it needs alignment. And alignment is visible in action, not words. Follow these practical steps to spot and stop future faking. 1. Timeline test. When someone makes a promise, ask, when? A genuine partner welcomes clarity. A future faker dodges specifics. 2. Action audit. Match their actions to their promises. Do they take even small steps toward the future they painted? If not, it's a mirage. 3. Stop waiting, start moving. Don't pause your life for their someday. Keep growing, plan, travel. The right partner will align with your momentum, not stall it. 4. Call it out. Say directly, I notice you talk about the future, but I don't see action. What's going on? Their reaction will reveal everything. Future faking is a beautiful prison. It looks like love, but it's really a leash, keeping you tied with empty words. So the next time someone says, one day, don't just listen to the dream. Watch the steps. Because the future isn't built on promises. It's built on actions. And the person who truly loves you won't just talk about someday. They'll start building with you today. Your ability to spot future faking empowers you to start breaking the excuses cycle. The mirror moment. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror, mascara smudged from crying or maybe just staring blankly after another sleepless night. The questions swirl. Why do I keep letting this happen? Why do I always excuse their behavior? When did I start treating pain like love? That's the mirror moment, when you realize the biggest red flag wasn't them. It was you excusing them. Why we excuse red flags? Excusing is comforting. It's easier to say, they didn't mean it. It's just their personality. They'll change when things calm down. Then to face the harder truth. They did mean it. It is who they are. They won't change. Psychologists explain this through cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two truths. They hurt me and I love them. To ease the discomfort, our brain bends reality. We rewrite hurt as harmless. We call wounds misunderstandings. The high cost of excuses because every excuse has a price. Emotional erosion. Each time you excuse disrespect, your self-worth erodes, like water dripping on stone. Identity loss. You forget your own boundaries, your own standards. You reshape yourself to keep them comfortable. Time theft. Excusing delays the inevitable. What you tolerate today becomes what you regret tomorrow. And the harshest cost? You lose trust, not in them, but in yourself. Your turning point. You excused everything. The jokes that cut too deep. The apologies that never changed behavior. The future plans that never arrived. Your friends begged you to leave, but you always said, "Thyri, not that bad. They has a good heart." One night, after another broken promise, you looked in the mirror and whispered to yourself, "If someone else told me this story, I'd tell them to run. So why am I staying? That would be the day you'd stopped excusing. You left, not because the person was a monster, but because you were tired of betraying yourself. The psychology of breaking free. To break the cycle, you must rewire how you see yourself and your relationships. 1. Self-respect bias. When you hold self-respect as your highest value, excuses feel foreign. You stop filtering behavior through "do I love them?" and start filtering through "does this respect me?" 2. Boundary reset. Boundaries aren't walls. They're filters. They protect your peace and reveal who belongs in your life. 3. Truth over hope. Instead of asking, "What do I hope they'll become?" ask, "Who are they right now?" That shift ends the fantasy loop. Herein practical steps on how to stop excusing. 1. Name it. When something hurts, don't minimize it. Say it, "That was disrespectful." Naming breaks the illusion. 2. Check for consistency. Do their actions match their apologies, their promises, their words? If not, stop giving credit for intentions. 3. Flip the question. Instead of "do they love me?" ask, "Am I loving myself by staying?" 4. Choose reality over potential. Potential is a beautiful lie. Reality is the truth you live with daily. Judge them on reality. 5. Take back time. Don't wait for them to change. Start building your own life forward. The right person won't need excuses to fit into it. The empowering truth. Here's the secret most people miss. Red flags don't destroy you. Excusing them does. Every time you excuse, you hand your power away. Every time you stop excusing, you reclaim it. Knowing these secrets exposed you to your liberation. So picture this final moment. You see the red flag, the cutting joke, the silent treatment, the empty promise. But instead of excusing it, you pause. You breathe. You say, "That's not okay." And suddenly, the cycle breaks. You're no longer trapped in excuses. You're standing in truth. Because love isn't proven by how many excuses you make. It's proven by how much peace you refuse to lose. The moment you stop excusing, you stop giving pain permission. And that's the moment you finally choose yourself. As you watch and listen to this video, it's pertinent to always spot or detect red flags in your relationships. Without fear or flight consequences, because your self-worth, respect and peace of mind are paramount. Kindly like, comment and subscribe to this video channel.